Have you ever noticed how the deepest shifts in your soul didn't happen in the noise? Not in the moments when the world was clapping for you, or when everything seemed to be going right, but in the stillness, in those long, echoing nights where the silence almost had a heartbeat of its own. That's where the Creator begins to speak, not in thunder, but in quiet convictions, in the unseen, the uncelebrated, the unnoticed. When life quiets you, when you're stripped of the applause, the distractions, even the answers, that's not a punishment. It's a sacred invitation, an invitation to hear what can only be heard when nothing else is speaking. The truth is, we often mistake silence for absence, but it's in that divine hush that the most powerful work is done. Growth doesn't always make noise. Healing doesn't announce itself, and transformation rarely comes with fireworks. But the one who sees all is never idle. Every delay, every pause, every unanswered prayer is precision. Divine wisdom isn't rushed, and neither is the work of the soul. We live in a world that worships speed, volume, visibility. But the Creator's ways are older than time. Mountains are formed slowly, not loudly. Trees stretch skyward in silence. Stars burn brightly in the vast stillness of space. The most sacred work is often invisible to the eye, but undeniable to the heart. So if you're in a season of quiet lean-in, stop resisting it, because the quiet isn't empty. It's full of the answers you couldn't hear in the noise. You are not forgotten. You are being rebuilt deliberately, deeply, eternally. When life falls silent and the noise fades away, many feel forgotten. It's easy to believe that something has gone wrong, that progress has stopped, that you're being overlooked by the very power you trusted. But that silence is not a void, it is a process. A deep, intricate unfolding that doesn't scream its presence, but works with precision, patience, and wisdom beyond what the human heart can immediately grasp. The space between your prayers and their answers is not a dead zone. It's the sacred soil where unseen roots are digging deeper, anchoring you for something you cannot yet see. The world tells you that movement must be loud, that change must look impressive, that success should come with celebration and lights. But the Creator's work is ancient and slow and perfect. The loud moments may get your attention, but the quiet ones change you. They prepare you, and preparation is love in its most honest form. There are parts of your soul that will only mature in the unseen. In solitude, you meet pieces of yourself that the crowd would never let you find. In quiet, you face questions that have lived in your spirit for years, questions you were too busy, too distracted, or too scared to ask. The silence draws them out, and the silence holds them steady until you're ready to hear their answers, not the ones you want, but the ones you need. And here's the mystery of it. Silence refines the spirit, while the world thinks you're stagnant. People may assume you've lost your direction, but in truth, the direction has simply moved inward. You are being formed, not just fixed. Strength is being built under the surface, away from the stage, beyond the reach of applause. What's growing now cannot be seen, but when it reveals itself, it will be undeniable. Even the wind must wait before it gathers power, and the sky holds still before the rain comes. The Creator does not rush. Divine design has no panic in it. What seems delayed is only being deepened. What seems forgotten is being prepared in secret so that when it does arrive, it fits you fully, without forcing, without fear. And isn't it a mercy to be made ready in the dark, to be shaped without the pressure of an audience, without the noise of opinions, without the fear of comparison? It is mercy when the Creator slows the pace, because something too heavy for your current frame is being placed in your future. And you must become the version of you who can carry it. Some of the most painful seasons are actually the most precise. They hurt, yes, but not because you are being punished. They hurt because you're being stretched. The soul is growing into its next form. It takes silence to get there. It takes separation to get there. And it takes trust, real trust, to stay when your ego wants to run, when your fear wants answers, when your heart wants proof. But even in the silence, you are not alone. You are heard. You are seen. Every whispered longing, every unspoken ache, every moment you stared at the ceiling asking if you're still on the path, it's all known. The higher power that orchestrates galaxies is not confused about your life. Your name is not lost in the divine wind. The quiet is not careless. It's careful. It's thoughtful. It's sacred. Sometimes the Creator whispers because your soul is finally quiet enough to hear. Not everything hidden is being withheld. Sometimes it's being shielded. There's a kind of divine protection that looks like delay, a type of mercy that feels at first like denial. You might not see it while you're waiting in the silence, while your name is being passed over, while the thing you've prayed for keeps slipping just beyond your grasp. But what you cannot see is what the Creator can, and the things not entering your life right now are not being blocked to break you. They're being held back to build you. And sometimes what you think you're ready for would unravel you if it arrived too soon. There are layers of your life that are still being structured to carry the weight of what's coming. And divine timing has never been about keeping you in the dark. It's about keeping you whole while the light is prepared. The unseen hand of the one who sees all doesn't rush breakthroughs. It guards the roots until they're strong enough for the wind. And in that process, you will be hidden, not to be forgotten, but to be protected from the things that feed ego and starve spirit. There are platforms that would destroy your peace if they came before your inner world was prepared. There are relationships you begged for that would have broken the parts of you that are just now healing. There are opportunities that looked golden from a distance, but would have cost you your soul's quiet if they had opened too early. The Creator doesn't keep things from you to hurt you. The delay is often the divine saying, "You are precious, and I will not expose what is sacred until it is safe." That kind of love is not always soft. It doesn't always come with reassurance or explanation. Sometimes it comes through doors that stay closed, through seasons that don't make sense, through silence that stretches longer than expected. But what's being formed in that place, the kind of strength that doesn't need to shout, the kind of wisdom that grows in stillness, the kind of peace that isn't dependent on outcomes, that is armor you didn't know you needed. And still, the human heart struggles with being unseen. The world has conditioned us to believe that if it's not visible, it's not valuable. But that's not how the Creator works. What is sacred is often hidden first, not because it's less, but because it's more. More delicate, more essential, more aligned with your true purpose. Even seeds are buried before they bloom. Even the night covers the stars before dawn reveals them. You are not being buried, you are being preserved. Sometimes the Creator hides you from the very thing you desire, because you're still being unhooked from the things that don't serve you. You may be asking for the next chapter, but you're still carrying pages from a story that has no place in where you're going. And divine wisdom knows you can't walk into what's meant for you until your hands are free from what tried to define you. And in that holding space, trust becomes more than a word. It becomes a posture, a quiet leaning into the unknown where your heart says, Even if I don't see the way, I trust the one who does. That's where true strength is born, not in controlling the outcome, but in surrendering to the timing. Knowing that what is yours will not miss you, and what misses you was never meant to stay. The Creator has not forgotten your name. You're not lost in the shuffle of the world. You're being watched over with more care than you can imagine. Hidden, yes, but not withheld. Just held a little longer until the wind changes and the sky breaks open. There are moments in your life when it will look like nothing is happening. You'll feel invisible, like your growth isn't noticed, your effort isn't acknowledged, your heart isn't being answered. You'll look around and see others being celebrated, lifted, chosen, and you'll wonder if you've been overlooked. But not everything sacred is meant to be seen. Some of the most powerful shifts in your soul are meant to happen in secret, away from the eyes of the world, under the quiet care of the Creator. You are not behind, you are becoming, and that becoming doesn't require an audience. It doesn't need permission. It doesn't ask for validation. What is being done in you is too delicate, too eternal, too personal to be put on display just yet. And the truth is, if it were visible too soon, it might be misunderstood, misused, or mistaken for something lesser. The Creator knows this, and that's why some of your greatest breakthroughs will unfold in silence, known only to the one who sees you fully. You won't always get a sign, you won't always feel strong. You might not even notice the change until one day you look back and realize you didn't just survive, you were transformed. But while you're in it, it feels small, ordinary, quiet, and yet in that quiet, sacred work is being done. Humility is taking root, integrity is being built, your character is deepening in ways that no platform, no praise, no spotlight could ever teach you. This is how divine design works. Not everything that carries power shouts. Some of the most faltering encounters with the Creator come without words. Just a sense, a shift, a knowing deep inside your spirit that cannot be explained, only experienced. And it doesn't need to be seen by anyone else for it to be real. It doesn't need to be posted, praised, or proven. It is between you and the one who crafted your path with such detail that even your silence has meaning. There's a kind of peace that grows in these invisible seasons, a peace not rooted in circumstance, but in surrender, a knowing that you are being led even when the road is dim, even when the answers don't come. That knowing can't be taught by words. It's born in the fire, in the quiet endurance, in the tears you cry in private, and the strength that rises without anyone clapping for you. That kind of peace is a gift, and once it's yours, the world can't take it from you. You are not here to impress anyone. You are here to fulfill something sacred, and sacred things don't rush to be seen. They grow deep before they grow tall. They become strong before they become known. Just because no one clapped for it doesn't mean it wasn't holy. Just because it didn't make noise doesn't mean it didn't move mountains inside of you. Every time you chose love when bitterness felt easier, that was sacred. Every time you held your tongue when anger tried to own you, that was sacred. Every time you forgave, surrendered, waited, stayed, grew in silence, that was sacred. That was the kind of unseen obedience that shapes eternity. No one may have noticed, but the one who sees all did. And that's enough. Not everything that matters needs to be announced. Some of the greatest victories are quiet, personal, invisible. But they change everything, and you're changing even now. Waiting can feel like wilderness, endless, dry, and unclear. You pray, you prepare, you press forward in your heart, but nothing seems to break open. No door swings wide. No sign flashes across the sky. The silence stays, and in that space your spirit can begin to ache, not just from the delay, but from the fear that the delay means denial. But the higher power that shapes the stars and sustains your breath is not late. You are not being punished. You're being aligned. There's a difference between rushing into what you want and stepping into what's truly meant for you. That difference is timing. Divine timing isn't about when it's convenient, it's about when it's right. And sometimes what feels like waiting is actually the Creator drawing all things into place within you and around you, so that when it arrives, you're not just ready to receive it, you're ready to carry it with peace. Real peace doesn't come from having everything at once. It comes from knowing that everything you need will arrive exactly when your soul is able to hold it without breaking, without making it your identity, without letting it rule your joy. Waiting is not about passively doing nothing. It's about choosing trust when your logic wants to take over. It's about standing still in the middle of uncertainty and saying with your whole chest, I trust the one who knows more than I do. Because sometimes you only think you're ready, but if what you were asking for had arrived on your schedule, it would have exposed cracks you didn't know you had. That job you thought was perfect, it would have drained the life out of your spirit. That relationship you begged to keep, it would have cost you the very self you were just starting to heal. That opportunity that looked like elevation, it would have sent you somewhere your character couldn't sustain. The Creator waits not because you aren't worthy, but because your worth is too great to be placed in something that's too small for your purpose. Alignment doesn't just protect your future. It protects your peace, and peace isn't cheap. You'll learn that over time. You'll feel the cost of saying not yet. When your flesh is crying out for something immediate, you'll feel it when people ask why you're still waiting, why you haven't moved, why you've fallen behind. And you'll have to sit with that tension, the longing, the unknown, the slow, sacred ache of becoming. But something happens in that ache. You start to realize you were never just waiting for something to arrive. You were being prepared to hold it differently. You become less attached to outcomes, more anchored in faith. You learn how to keep your center even when the world around you feels like it's moving faster than you. You stop chasing what looks good and start trusting what feels deeply right. Not easy, not obvious, but right. And the right things won't ask you to trade your soul to keep them. They won't make you perform or shrink or beg. They'll feel quiet, solid, familiar, like something your spirit always knew was coming. Trusting divine timing is one of the hardest things you'll ever do, because it requires you to surrender the illusion that you're in control. It asks you to lay down your fear, your plans, your desperation, and pick up trust, even when there's no proof on the horizon. But that trust, it's what opens you to receive something you didn't even know to ask for. Sometimes the Creator delays what you want to give you what you were truly made, for there are moments in your life where silence will feel like absence. You'll search for a sign, a voice, a whisper, something to tell you that you're still being led, that your steps are still held in a plan larger than your understanding. But what do you do when heaven is quiet and your heart is loud, when the days are full of effort, but the nights echo with questions no one else can hear? That space where nothing seems to be happening, that's where the deeper work takes place. The transformation that doesn't show up on your face or in your feed. The kind that turns you inside out and remakes you without ever asking for your permission. This isn't punishment. This is preparation, and it's not the kind of preparation that announces itself with thunder. It's the kind that slowly breaks off everything that doesn't belong. Old thought patterns, deep fears, hidden pride, unspoken resentment, silent envy, all of it, one by one, brought into the light, not to shame you, but to free you. The Creator sees what you carry in private, the weight you try to hide behind your smile, the way your heart leans toward hope and still feels afraid to believe again, the way you show up for others while quietly wondering if anyone sees you. That kind of silent strength does not go unnoticed. It is recorded, it is honored, and while you wait for clarity or change, something sacred is already unfolding. Sometimes your season of silence is not about you being forgotten. It's about you being invited into a different kind of intimacy with the one who knows your true name. In the quiet, you're asked to listen to something deeper than noise. You're asked to slow down enough to hear the truth you've been avoiding, the still voice underneath all your questions. You are being kept. Not just alive, but intact, centered, grounded, protected. And here's the truth no one tells you. Clarity doesn't always come with words. Sometimes it comes through peace. A quiet, inexplicable knowing that you are on the right path, even if it's lonely, even if it's long, even if no one claps for it. The most beautiful moments in your growth will not be witnessed by the world. They will happen behind closed doors, in prayerful thoughts, in tearful nights where your only company is the breath in your lungs and the awareness that something beyond you is holding you steady. There is a sacred strength in staying faithful when nothing around you changes, when the promise feels far, but your heart still says yes. That kind of trust is rare, and it's that very trust that prepares you for the life you were truly designed to carry. Not the life that just looks good from the outside, but the one that brings peace when you're alone. The one that aligns with your values, not just your desires. The one that fits your soul, not just your ego. And that kind of life, anchored in truth, built on quiet surrender, isn't born in the spotlight, it's born in the silence. In the waiting, in the moments when you think nothing's happening, but everything is being rearranged behind the scenes for your good. Don't despise the silence. It's not emptiness, it's sacred space. The kind of space where your roots deepen, where your spirit stretches, where your dependence shifts away from what's seen and into the hands of the one who sees all. And one day, when the noise returns, and the path clears, and the doors open, you'll realize what was being built in you in the quiet was always greater than what you were waiting to receive. Some of the most defining moments of your life won't come with applause. They'll come in silence when no one's watching, when no hand is extended, when there is no crowd to validate you. And that is where you will truly meet yourself, stripped of distraction, untouched by noise, free from expectation. In that quiet space, something begins to speak, not through your ears but through your awareness, a pull, a prompting, a sacred kind of recognition that says, you were made for something more than this world can measure. We were never meant to find ourselves in constant motion, always striving, always producing, always performing. There's a kind of wisdom that only settles in when you stop moving long enough to feel what's underneath the surface of your own life. Some truths cannot be shouted, they can only be whispered. And the one who designed your soul knows when your heart is finally ready to hear them. We've been taught to associate purpose with action, but there are assignments that require stillness. There is growth that happens only when everything external slows down and you're left alone with your essence. That's not a detour, that's sacred territory. The deeper things, honesty, integrity, surrender, healing, those don't happen when you're on the stage. They happen when you're in the dark, learning how to see without sight, learning how to hear without sound. Learning how to trust without knowing where it will lead. Real purpose doesn't rush you, it draws you inward. And that inward pull isn't always comfortable. It might ask you to let go of titles, of timelines, of things you were sure defined you. It might ask you to release the version of yourself you built for survival, so you can become the version that's aligned with truth. And that version, it doesn't need to impress anyone. It doesn't need a platform. It doesn't need a plan that makes sense on paper. All it needs is your yes, your quiet yes, the one you whisper in the dark when no one's around to celebrate it, the one you offer with shaking hands but a steady heart, the one you give not because you're certain, but because you trust the one who led you there. That kind of yes is powerful. It carries weight in unseen realms. It opens doors you don't even know exist yet. It invites clarity where confusion once lived, and it keeps you rooted when everything around you is shifting. The Creator doesn't measure greatness the way the world does. The loudest impact isn't always the most visible one. Sometimes the greatest act of faith is staying where you've been placed, doing the inner work no one sees, because you know who you're doing it for. This is why the quiet matters, because it teaches you to listen for direction instead of demand results. It breaks the addiction to control. It softens the parts of you that hardened just to cope, and in that softening, you start to feel again. Not just emotionally, but spiritually. You become sensitive to alignment, to peace, to the difference between what's urgent and what's real. It's a sacred rewiring, a return to the truth that was always there, waiting for you underneath the noise. You start to realize that your deepest sense of purpose doesn't scream, it hums, gently but persistently. And if you give it space, it will guide you back to yourself. The higher purpose you've been looking for isn't hidden from you, it's hidden in you. And the quiet is where you learn how to access it. The Creator is not trying to impress you with power. The Creator is trying to invite you into alignment, and alignment doesn't need sound, it just needs surrender. Let the silence do its work. The Creator is closer than ever.